All right, Friday night madness. Starting off a little differently today, but it's still Friday night madness nonetheless. We got Noah and we got the troublemaker that calls himself Cookie by nature, knowing damn well he's not sweet by nature. He's a sour patch, evil son of a gun named Devontae. Um, but Noah, you have a little news to uh, pass on to the people. What's that? What's that? What's that announcement you have?
So it's been in the works for those that have paid attention to my character arc. It's been in the works since October. So from the time that you've seen me and known me and done everything that I've done up until October, all the way until today, I finally accomplished my goal.
Really?
I quit my job.
Oh, whoa. Wow, are you serious?
And here's the thing. Any other avenue I can go to, I will make more money.
Wow. I wasn't expecting
here's the thing. Oh yeah. So here's the thing, right? What this means and why I'm sending it here. I have just been stressed out beyond control. I've destroyed my sleeping patterns. I've ruined my kind of some of my work habits. It's caused me to drop a lot of things. It's caused me to, sacrifice some other activities, much like my show, which got too much for me. And yeah, there's just a lot of problems that just piled on one after another. So I had to reevaluate my situation, and I had to make a self-assessment, and it took a couple of people. It took, some coaching, and it took some planning. Like, I wouldn't do this if I didn't have a plan to go off of, right? So I have some timeline of events. I already had a job in place that I've been trying to go on to and transfer over to. As a matter of fact, I have their work shirt in place already. So
wow,
it's only a matter of time, right? But in between this time, I'm going to save up. I'm going to reschedule my eating habits, my workout habits, my sleeping habits. I'm going to work on getting a new car, which I didn't think I was capable of. Here's the thing. Like, I have a bunch of time right now, and all of this time is when you've seen me at the roughest stage of my recent life. All y'all are going to get a rejuvenated version of myself. All y'all are going to see an upgraded version of me. Get the heck ready. I got some videos that I've been pumping out. I got some editing that I've been doing in the works. I got an intro and outro for my channel already in the works that it's going to be handcrafted by a digital artist. So be on the lookout for that. I have time to write articles if I want to in my spare time, like I've done before. So I can start making some more things. I can start teaching anyone else that wants to come up here and be the next version of ourselves, right?
Right.
I'm going to schedule the time to help and train anyone else out, so I'm available. I've been available for all of basically anything else that's involved, like maintaining and keeping the community encouraged, right? And all that kind of stuff. And that was with a time restriction all of this time, mind you. Now, everything's going to be for the better. So, yeah, you best be ready. That's my announcement.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you say that, because we've been we have some things under our sleeve also. Well, today we did two things. Did two things today. We're gonna kind of go over it again this weekend, but get ready for the heavy hitters. The heavy hitters are gonna have their own podcast. The heavy hitters are gonna have their own channel. We're going to expand on the topic, so the heavy hitters is going to be more than just Atlanta Falcons content. We're going to be NFL. We're talking about NFL basketball. We're going to talk about all types of things. So check out the heavy hitters. We got a lot of things coming. This is no longer gonna be just Atlanta Falcons content. I'm telling y'all right now.
Mike, you might just mess around and get a fourth member of the heavy hitters.
I knew that was coming. Look, bro, we definitely got a lot. Look, we try to tell people it's more than just the Atlanta Falcons content over here. We're trying to really show Georgia fans, Georgia Tech fans, and just fans of the NFL and just fans of sports, what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have fun, man. Supposed to have fun. So this is going to be an interesting topic.
Well, why don't we bring a fourth member on here?
we got a fourth one here.
The sexual chocolate.
Oh.
LT, what is up? I'm filling in for K Styles at the moment. So how you doing?
Wow. I ain't been on in a couple months and y'all still with that.
Forever. That's gonna forever be it. You might as well get used to
that. How y'all doing, man?
Hey man, we great, man.
I'm doing fantastic.
If y'all in the chat, let me get a hashtag sexual chocolate, please.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please do not do that. Do not do that.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So what's the discussion, people?
I have questions on the bottom.
Soon, but yeah, we got this is something I just want to play around with. I just want to see where everybody's head is as it pertains to not only just the recent allegations with Mr. Deshaun Watson. I just want to play a scenario here. Where would the Atlanta Falcons be had they traded for Deshaun Watson? And I'm talking about, money financially. We're talking about the picks. We're talking about the coaches, the players, the morale in the room. Do you think
so? Basically, your question is, where would the Falcons be if we took Deshaun Watson with everything that Cleveland took? That's your question. Your question.
Yes, sir.
Up shit creek.
Oh man,
I got another answer.
I'm just being honest. Up shit creek. I mean, what else you want me to say?
I got one word answer. Man. In court.
Wow.
I just said that if the people think the Falcons have a lack of depth now, imagine us throwing everything away for one guy.
I mean, at this point, they still coming with allegations. I might well make one myself. He touched me too. He grabbed my left titty nipple while I was trying to.
Nigga.
Tried to touch me.
I tried to use the nigga on this show, but damn, nigga, what the hell? What the hell that come from?
I'm just saying. Hey, they said they added cases. I'm about to throw my beard in there too.
Wow. This isn't a 24-pack of beer. Like,
I mean, listen. I'm just saying. Shoot, I have man breasts, so shoot, he can touch them too. So guess what? I got a sexual assault case.
No, that was an interesting number you chose for that pack.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's deliberate.
So I'm just saying. But yeah, if the Falcons would have made that move, it would have been up shit creek. The morale of this fan base, I mean, it's already jacked up as it is. It got even worse. You don't sacrifice your future to get this man. Then we not even sure if, from my understanding, he more than likely not playing this year. I haven't really been in tune to know if they actually confirmed that or not. But more than likely, he won't be playing this year. And the way things is going, he not even out the doghouse yet. So if he don't play this year, along with the fact that I'm so sorry, along with something else going along, like it's a task. I can definitely say that. It's a task to have this man on the team, to deal with him in this aspect. But yeah, the Falcons having him on this team would have been like the worst thing that could happen. I mean, if the folks that actually care for Matt Ryan getting traded thought that was a bad idea, but we would actually get Deshaun Watson. Good God Almighty!
We would just
Whew.
be looking starting Felipe Franks right now. And I know as much as we believe in him being an offensive weapon, that would be our quarterback right now. Looking at Deshaun Watson, because I do believe the NFL is going to have to set a precedent, because this situation is something crazy, something that almost we have never heard before. You know, if we can bring it back to our Falcons currently, if Calvin Ridley can be suspended a full year for gambling, now imagine how they feel about Deshaun Watson, which people don't understand. He does not have to be convicted for the NFL to make their decision. Completely different thing.
I allow Ray Rice, because I don't think Ray Rice ever was convicted of anything, but yet, pretty much done kicked him out of the league.
Oh yeah, that could be very well what happens to Deshaun. And think about it, right? We just talked about Matt Ryan's situation. This is with the $48 million in the dead cat that we would have had to, we already have on the books right now. And then you want to add Watson's contract on top of that in the same offseason. Guess what? Now you can't sign any draft picks.
Yeah.
Now you can't, like what Cookie said, now you don't have Desmond Ridder or Mariota.
And the reason to reply to Eric Mack, reason I did say Felipe Franks, because if you would have got Watson, there would be no reason to draft Ridder, because Watson himself is young. So that pick would have been a whole different pick at the time.
So, there's the joke that's going around that, oh, hey, well, the Browns spent $230 million something odd dollars for Baker Mayfield to be on the sideline. What do you think that would have been if that was all right, let's remove Baker Mayfield and put Matt Ryan's name there and add more money to that sentence? Oof. You're looking at $350 some odd million just to not have Matt Ryan here. That's so much worse than the scenarios that we put up a couple months ago where we were talking about how the contract situation looked, where, hey, if you got rid of Matt Ryan now, if you cut him before June 1st and you do all this other stuff and you don't think about the ramifications of that, then guess what? Then you're going to sacrifice the ability to upgrade your team elsewhere. And what have we been doing this entire time in the offseason? We've at least maintained the same in some situations, but every other facet of our team has been upgraded. We would not have been able to do that if not for Deshaun Watson.
And we added depth, much needed depth. If we want to be honest about teams in years past, the prime of Matt's career and whatever the case may be, the biggest thing that was our issue with those teams is we was top heavy, but after that we ain't had nothing behind them. So that's why a year like 2018 happened, because defensively bad enough that the defense really wasn't all the way up to par. But when you lose significant pieces for either the whole season or majority of the season, then guess what? You ain't got nothing to go off of when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you lead to having a 79 record or whatnot, because you're playing, you spent your money to be top heavy, but those guys go down. So then now you're trying to figure out, okay, what the backup's going to do. And they're not really that talented to be taking over that role for a course of a season. That's crazy. I mean, even people might be like, well, DeMonte Casey led the league in interceptions. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. All those picks were really optimistic picks. It wasn't really playmaking plays. I think out of all the picks that the man done made, only one of them I can say that he made the play on. That was the one against the Saints on Thanksgiving. That was about the only pick I can say he actually made a play on. Other than that, most of them was either a bad throw or a tip drill that ended up leading him catching the pick. So, as I said, right now, the way this team is currently constructed, I feel confident if we do suffer an injury. I hope we don't, but this is the game of football. But if we do suffer an injury where a guy misses a game or two or several weeks, then I'm confident enough that the guy that's going to be replacing him can actually withhold that spot until said player could come back. Or if it not happen that way, he gets hold of the spot for the whole season. You got to be able to have depth on the team. That's what made great team. That would make a great team. Not only that you have quality starters, but you also have quality backups. Why you think like the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl with what
They
the
had like an
cornerback
8-man
name?
rotation.
Brandon Browner. Yeah, yeah,
They had
yeah.
like an
They won the
8-man
Super Bowl with
rotation.
Brandon Browner. They won the Super Bowl with Brandon Browner, and they went right back to the Super Bowl with Maxwell as their starting corner. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't really make a difference because
Yeah,
they
they
were
had
like I
Byron
said.
Maxwell. They had Walter Thurman. They had Jeremy Lane.
Yeah. You see how they had that depth, and that's where, like, and they were still the Legion of
That's the
Boom until
defensive
probably like after
line. The
2016.
defensive line.
It- right. So I mean, that's just where we at on that aspect. If you make that trade, they gonna be. If you make that trade and give up all those assets, you're gonna be handing. If anybody at the game, they do announcements, they gonna be like, at wide receiver, weighing in at 190 pounds, standing at 6'3", Michael Linson. As soon as he run a slant and plant his foot, his leg gonna go out. I mean, now you got to.
No. I'll be the long
Nah,
snapper. I'll not be in the wide receiver. I'll play 4-5 times a game.
the minute he go off to come off the line of scrimmage and he plant that leg and run a slant, is over with. You know, we're gonna go ahead and get the card out.
I'm good.
So I'm
I'll
just
be the long snapper.
saying.
As a whole, the best part of Matt Ryan getting traded is that the fans have to focus on the entire picture now. You cannot say, "Oh man, if Matt did this, if Matt ran, if Matt threw the ball here." No, you have to focus on the whole team now. You can't pick and choose which player to be the looking for. That's the best.
Yeah.
To me.
Somehow, some way, the man been going 3 months and he's still getting talked about. Folks going to the coach page just to talk trash about the man. I don't understand. Like, that's pathetic. Like, the Falcons gave you what you wanted. You wanted him gone. He's gone. There's no need for you to chase behind him just to make a point and say how sorry he is or what he didn't do or this, that, and the third. I don't understand that.
We didn't give the fans everything they wanted. They wanted the black quarterback. We got a Hawaiian one. Then we got a mixed one behind him. So, like, what else do you want? You got what you asked for. You said you want a mobile quarterback. We got 3. You still ain't happy. Why we drafted Drake London? Oh no, now I like him. Well, I like Frank Darby be playing around. I love him. He's my favorite. Right? We got all our priorities messed up right now. So, and I was saying that to say this before. 2016, everybody loves to talk about that season because that's the same season you went to the Super Bowl. That defense gave up 406 points. That's why we keep telling you, I got to look at the whole picture. That's cool that we scored top points in the league, but we gave up just as much. So did it matter? No.
We literally broke the record, the NFL record that year for, I think we won 6 games that season while allowing our opponents to score 28 points or better. That is absolutely atrocious. I don't care what nobody says.
I don't know if this is confirmed, but somebody told me on Twitter that we are the only team that has done that.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, we are. We are the only team that done that. And I don't care. And this is why, and that's why, like, people were surprised about the Super Bowl that year. Oh my God, I can't believe we lost in that fashion. And I'm like, y'all clearly ain't paying attention to the season. Because we got burnt once, but we've been playing with fire the whole year. We got burnt against the Chargers that season. Because we had a massive lead. We gave it up. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, while people playing, we actually scored 30 points that game. I think we lost that game 33-30. So people that say we would have scored one more touchdown or we would have scored 30-something points, we would have won that game. But we literally lost the game scoring 30 points.
That's what I don't understand.
Why having a big lead?
Do that much? Why does a team have to work that hard to win a game? Why can't they just play sound football on all 3 phases? Why do we got to get 40 points? That's cool as far as highlights worthy, but you shouldn't have to do that much.
That ain't even football. That's not even possible. And I mean, like you said, a missed block, a missed tackle, an errant throw, drop pass, all that stuff takes an accountable you got to take accountable of that can happen, which can lead to you not scoring or losing a crucial down. It ain't just on one person; it's on the team. And that I don't know if y'all just said it on the show before, but I know in our group, Mike, their discussion about how Matt said that he was kind of like went through a depressive stage, basically saying like it was messed up to the point where like he was like, dang, I got to play perfect just for us to win. And quite frankly, whether people want to believe it or not, he did. Like, yeah, you might be like, well, he had a couple incompletions. He lost. The dude played perfect. You couldn't play a better game at the QB position than Matt played in that Super Bowl, and you still lost. That could bring anybody down. There's no way any person.
QBRs, he had one of the highest QBRs, if not the highest, at that time.
No, to this day still.
It's still to this day. That's the thing.
Mike, that clouds judgment because he literally outplayed Tom Brady in that game. No one talks about that part though. He did outplay him.
Yeah, bro, it took Brady a bunch of passes just to get the numbers that Matt had. Like, I think Brady threw the ball like 50 times, dang near, if not over, just to get, just to get the numbers that Matt had. Matt literally had 5 incompletions and had then 300 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
He was 20. I think Matt was 22 or 27. Come on, bro.
Yeah, James White had like 15 catches on his own in the backfield.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a running back. Come on, bro.
And then they went back to the playoffs the year after that. So I didn't see where this some part of this fan base was criticizing Matt so hard. He led us back to the playoffs again. Back after that to the divisional round against the Eagles.
And then followed that up with the next year had dang near similar numbers.
Is it our fault? Is it his fault? That because he thinks he needs to jump 30 feet in the air to catch an interception? Is it his fault?
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's more to football besides one position, one player, whatever. Everybody plays a part into this, even including coaching staff. You can't sit here and tell me that y'all pissed off at the quarterback for not audibling, but you ain't pissed off at the OC for not calling the damn run play in the first place. That's literally his job, is to call plays. His job is to call plays, and he didn't think about calling the run play. Then the man came out years later after the fact in an interview and told you that he was arrogant and was getting in his own way. He said this.
What you can't do in real life is press square, everybody. You can't just press square and hit R1 and do all these adjustments every 5 seconds.
Let me tell y'all something. You can't. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all, you can't ask Madden on a game or in real life no more. Rest in peace.
Oh my God.
I wanted to shout out to Los Falcons here for the $5 super chat.
Appreciate that, Wolf.
To him. Mike, you highlighted this comment?
Yes, sir. One of the reasons why I highlighted this is mainly because this is what we have to do at this point. Now, picture the reason, we end up picking up Deshaun Watson, and a lot of people are upset that the Falcons are in this predicament to begin with, where they're having to sign a bunch of guys on prove-it deals. Now, for me personally, I think this is damaging to a team that isn't necessarily in a position where they're thinking a retool or they thinking that they're rebuilding. Like, if you're in that mindset of rebuilding, is that 1 or 2 year deals okay? I can see that. But for a team that is forced into a rebuild, I think that does a lot to guys like Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, Jake Matthews, these guys who have shown that they are capable of, being Pro Bowl players. The question I have for you guys is this: what do you do if you're Jake Matthews and Grady Jarrett Deion Jones. These guys are superstars. These guys are stars in the league. What is your mindset having to deal with a Deshaun Watson? You looking at you put yourself in that locker room as a player, and you got this guy that comes in with all of these. I mean, I don't even know what to call it. It's just a shit show. It's a shit show. What do you say to your teammate? I'm gonna have your back. Are you looking at Arthur Smith like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, as a player, what are you thinking?
As a player, I'm definitely like I don't even think, especially in this instance, I'm giving you're replacing a stand-up guy who defends his team. He takes all criticism, everything under the sun. You're taking you're pretty much trying to get rid of this person and bringing in a guy that's like they have all this baggage. Like clearly you don't have no integrity. That's one of the things. You have no integrity. You don't have no morale. You have nothing. Like winning is everything to you. And then, but even then, the move that you made, you pretty much gave up your future. So you paying a guy to be on your team, and the fan base fit to be in an uproar for the most part. You're gonna get talked about negatively across national media, which that don't help you none because you already get talked about negatively across national media, and then you add that to the party, that don't help you none. And then just overall, man, especially if you like you couldn't ties with Matt for a guy like Deshaun, like Matt Ryan, MVP winner, Super Bowl champion, all pro player, pro bowler, like future Hall of Famer. You're putting him on a back burner for a guy who hasn't really proved himself like that in the league, along with having a massive sexual assault case against him. That just don't work. It just
See,
don't work.
if I know of Grady and Jake like I think I do, there's only two options, right? The first option is to just keep your head down, focus on your work, focus on maintaining the relationships you've already built in that locker room, and just keep it that way. Or if the situation gets really, really bad, trade. You just request a trade right then and there, right? If you are so against it, you really don't need to stay in that locker room, right? Grady, he had his opportunity to take his leave and still wanted to gay. I'm going to stay here. I got my extension. I'm here for 3 more years because he liked the structure. He liked everything that the organization was doing, and it helped him to be that type of player where he can just say, I'm going to keep my head down and just be the leader that I know I can be inside the organization for them. Same goes for Jake, same goes for Debo, most likely. But if you really don't deal with that decision, it's going to eat at you for the rest of the off season and for the rest of the regular season too, because now there's this constant topic, there's this constant discussion that is happening around this team, and it's still happening around the Browns. It's still happening around the Texans, who thought that they got rid of this problem, and now they're right back in it.
Yeah,
I think so. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you can finish.
I was going to say, I think it brings up a lot more questions. I know we're talking about the players that have the seniority on the team. We're talking about Brady, Jarrett, Deion Jones, and Jake Matthews. But what we're not talking about is the other players. What if someone like, I know Marlon Davidson was like, you know what, I don't want to be here with him. Other players saying the same thing.
wow.
I don't want to play with that guy. Why I shouldn't be having the force to be playing with that guy. You can feel how you want to feel about the situation. Everything's allegedly, everything's not, concrete yet. But to me, as far as being a player and who would have been around the league for a good amount of time, I would have asked Blank. Honestly, if Vic didn't get the time of day, why should Deshaun Watson?
Wow. Yeah, that's a solid point. I think the reason why I wanted to have this discussion on this is because I think for the most part, the anger, the emotions surrounding this topic is pretty much everybody's a lot cooler now. Like we know that we've moved on from this situation. And I don't know what just happened, but my screen just froze. What the heck?
Oh crap!
Yeah, just sort that out.
Yeah, I don't know. My friend, I can hear, but I cannot see.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you good.
All right,
Just,
yeah, but I can't. Yeah, my screen just froze. I don't know why it just froze. But yeah, the reason why, like the emotions for this situation is so like I think we can get a more wow. Now just go black.
Oh, keep going until you can't. We can hear you.
I can't see anything. I can't see anything. I don't know what just happened.
All right. Well, I like this comment here by Marwan Johnson. Shout out to you for participating in Maggie's show early this morning. He's saying if people don't realize the mental impact on Deshaun Watson's ability to play the game, like in more ways than one, really, because Mariota was brought in like almost like 30 minutes after we had the Matt Ryan trade because Arthur Smith was familiar with him and he had the chemistry and they already had a feel and a grasp of what each other was capable of, what their strengths were, and everything else. You bring Redder in as dang near the same thing, right? You know that you can instill these things in him because you see an example already in the same room. So you can build off of that and continue to work your playbook around what he's wanted to do, which if you base anything off of last season, you really can't make a full-on like comparison to what we had to do on offense last year and what we had to do on offense, what we're going to do on offense this year, because our quarterbacks are different, our running backs are different, our wide receivers are different, our tight ends are, most of them are different except our starter, and then key pieces of our front five on the offensive line are going to be likely different too. So there's a lot that is going to get moved around. There's a lot that's going to get moved around scheme-wise. So now you're going to see receivers running different routes as opposed to what they had to adjust their playbook for in order to accommodate for what Russell Gage was good at, what Olamide Zaccheaus was good at. And I know that he's still here, but he's not the primary role. So now you have a lot more pieces to work with, and that allows Arthur Smith to really have a ton more flexibility on his offense. But if you get Deshaun Watson here, now you can't get Drake London, like I said. Now you might lose out on the enjoyment that Cordero Patterson might have being here. You can't get any of the other running backs. You've already cut Mike Davis. Like, that's already a lost cause. No need to cry over spilt milk. You really can't improve a whole lot of your offensive line, so he'd be in much of the same situation if he were to start, which he probably won't even do that until who knows how many years. So, like, there's a lot that any kind of move like this is setting itself back for. That's kind of the reason as to why the Browns are still keeping Baker Mayfield along, not just because he's like making the most money on the team next year, but also because they know the possibility of Deshaun not playing at all, despite the contract that's fully guaranteed.
This is kind of why you can't kill everybody trying to bring in one person. So like y'all didn't already crap the bed with Baker Mayfield to the point where he don't even want to play with y'all. Y'all holding him hostage right now. I don't even care. If I was him, I would not care if they put the hammer down on Deshaun Watson. I'm not putting that helmet on no more. I take all the fines in the world. I'm not putting that helmet on anymore because of how y'all treated me. I wouldn't do it personally.
I have a question for you guys also, and it's something that I had a previous discussion on a live show, and I think this really needs more attention than really what it's getting, because now that we have it's so much money, endorsement deals, sponsorships from just all over the place. It's easy for guys with a certain star level or charisma to be able to get a lot of deals, make a lot of money. Do you guys think, due to the emergence of, you have these I don't even know what the hell you call them, but you have the betting that's involved in the NFL. You have the TV sponsorships. You have the podcast. A lot of guys are just doing things, a la Antonio Brown. You see Draymond Green. He's doing the same thing right now. As soon as he get off the court, he heads straight to his podcast. Do you think just the money surrounding sports is just too much, and the love of the game is something that is disappearing? Everyone is doing something with a purpose instead of doing it for the love of the game.
I'm gonna I'll answer that. I'll say eventually it's gonna hurt the quality of the product, because say you say quarterback X gets this super mega deal, and then you're looking at other players on sideways like, well, I don't think he's worth this much, and then other teams don't think he's worth that much. So I think it's gonna cause a certain shift when certain players aren't getting paid their worth or what their perceived worth is, and I think it's a shift in the whole league when it comes to that, with these very large deals being handed out.
I agree. I mean, because I think that's what I applaud Terry Fontenot for doing, because that was one of our biggest issues when we had Dimitrov as our GM. He used to just be paying people, just be paying them to keep them. Like, he listened to the fan base to a certain degree, because, we was like, well, we want so-and-so on the team. We want to keep so-and-so. We want to keep so-and-so. And for the most part, he did that. But I tell anybody, we kept so-and-so, but at what cost? What did it cost us to keep so-and-so? Instead of like right now, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I think this probably has been this just, and I want y'all to follow me on this. Don't say, I'm not saying that the teams that we had was bad or they were trash or anything like that. But from the way I've seen Terry build this team, this is probably, one of the best Falcon teams that we probably seen throughout the whole, Mike Ryan era, due to the fact that we're signing quality guys and having good depth. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, we like I said before, we always be top heavy and whatnot. But let's just be honest, if you took away a Matt Ryan, a Julio Jones, a Ryder White, a Tony Gonzalez, and pretty much kept literally anybody else, what do those teams do? Much of nothing.
I think.
But
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think a good part of that is the mindset change as well, because I know previous regimes would just have their guys get most of the snaps, while the perceived young guy behind them wouldn't see the field that much. So that's why I think Terry Fontenot and co. are doing different. Is that, if you're not playing well and that guy behind you is playing better, he's going to play. So I can give you the best example of that. Tyler Davidson didn't just start the whole season. He got benched for somebody that came off the street twice, Mike Pennell and Anthony Rush. So I like that this team is going in a direction where if you're not giving me what I need, I'm going to see what the next guy has.
Yeah, Arthur Smith said that in this recent press conference too. He's like, hey, I don't ever want to feel as if my roster is set on a week-to-week basis. Like, I'm always going to keep looking. The front office is always going to keep looking for players. And so if they have a replacement, and if they don't have what they think that they need in order to get through the next week or to get through the rest of the process and the training camp and anything else that's coming up, they're going to start making moves. They're going to have to slim down on a lot of their rosters too, because they got to get from the 90 to the 53. And now with this competition, with everyone making like equal amounts of money, you have to prove yourself, because now it's a lot of low risk, high reward type of deals that we're having on our roster. It's not before, like what LT was saying about having 4 or 5 guys make up like 55% of the actual salary cap space. Like, you never want to get to that point. and have it to the point where, hey, if any of these guys go down, we're screwed for the rest of the season. Because that's what last year really felt like. When we lost Isaiah Oliver and then when Calvin Ridley went away, we felt like we were screwed on both sides of the ball. We had like 10 people on the team, on the field.
And that goes to that, like I said, that 2016 season. That's basically what that was about, because we literally was in a situation where like those guys weren't doing anything. I mean, they like we weren't making no noise and doing anything because we had unpaid. We gave Julio his deal, Matt got his deal, Devontae Freeman got his deal, Ricardo Allen got a deal. It was so much that went into that, and that didn't help nobody at all on what was taking place. So that just like I said, we kept putting ourselves in a hole because we were giving up, like you said, we giving 55% of our cap to 4 or 5 people. And and not having quality guys. So this time around, like right now, we're in a situation where I tell anybody, we're blessed because now that Matt is gone, we're taking a hit, no doubt about it. And I'm okay with taking that hit for the year. But the fact that once we get past this season, we literally have over 100 million in dead cap to play with. That's a plus. So now we can actually go out and get guys that are quality starters, and I feel like Terry Fontenot, he has the gift of gab where he could probably end up swooning, players that people might feel like they are perennial players, but end up bringing them in for like a cheap deal. You'd be like, listen, we're gonna bring you in if you perform. We're gonna bring you in. We're gonna give you a contract, but here's some incentives to it. If you meet those incentives, you get your money. On top of that, if you meet your incentives and perform well, then it'll give other franchises to look at you and possibly proverbial, overpay for you, even though we don't feel like you might be worth the money you're looking for. But somebody else to see what you did with us, and they'll stick their leg out, they'll stick their arm out to give you the money that you're looking for, and you going by that way. But this is why I tell people this is why you have to have, a draft team and a coaching staff that could be able to withhold that, because once those players leave, you got to bring in guys that you can develop and whatnot and help with that cause. So if that's the case, you can help with that cause, and whatever the case may be, it can help with the situation where these people, we ain't losing nothing once these folks leave. Like, we seen how when John Abraham left, like when John Abraham left us, how things, especially the pass rush, just went completely downhill. Man, please, like, you can see that where we put ourselves in a position where once certain people leave, we ain't gonna miss it. We could draft their replacement, they're gonna get developed, and we're gonna continue to strive. It's literally, I mean, we all want to be honest, people, and I'm telling y'all this, it's literally what New England have been doing for like the last 20 years. They don't overpay for nobody. They'll pay a person a decent contract, but if need be, they'll let them go. But like you see how like Chandler Jones was looking for a healthy contract, and they was looking like, no, we not trade.
Let me say this real quick, because this comment really is the reason why I posed that question. He said, I can't hate on any man for getting his bag, but if his heart ain't for the love of the game, let's just say I ain't buying his jersey. And honestly, the game bigger than just fans. The game is bigger than just fans. We got people out here literally for the love of the game, they putting their body on the line. I don't think people realize what that statement means. They're literally putting their lives on the line, their body on the line. We see guys like, what's the linebacker from the Steelers who had to retire? We have so many guys. We had
Ryan Shazier.
Shazier putting his body
you're
on.
Thinking of Stephon Tuitt, right?
No, it was that line.
Him too. That's another guy. That, again, all these guys are retiring early. The reason why this statement irritates me, I can't hit on a man for hitting, because it's a game to begin with. This is not a business venture. This game was never designed to be a business venture for players. If you want to play the game, You should be playing for the love of the game. And this is where I've lost my love for basketball because all I see is everybody playing for the next check. I want to have as many guys on my team that's going to make it easier for me instead of being like Kobe Bryant, being like Michael Jordan, getting your ass in the gym and actually, perfecting your craft. This shit pisses me off. I hate to see players manipulating situations, even if it's just for a couple of $1 million. I don't like to see that. Work your ass off, play another year and get that extra $2 million. Because we've seen guys like Jeremy Shockey. That dude he could have been retired. Greg Olsen, these guys have played for 20, 15 years. They're not crying about, I need an extra $3 million. I need an extra $10 million. Guess what? He's going to get that $10 million by playing an extra a couple more years and not manipulating the system where the team is put in a position where now instead of that $10 million that they got to share with 2 other linebackers or 2 other wide receivers, 2 other players, they can't pay those guys.
No. As much as I can see your point, like it's a catch-22 because like look at running backs these days. They draft people that draft a running back and literally run that joke into the ground. And within the first couple of years,
you about to go with it. Look, I already know where you go.
But I mean, am I lying though? Like because like once they done ran you to the ground and like you don't make the year 4 or 5, you don't have so many carries. So when you looking for your payday and whatnot, folks look at you like, I ain't trying to pay you X. I'm not trying to pay you X amount of money. Why not?
That's a part of the game. That's a part of the game. That's not a part of business. What
that is part of business because because you have to give a QB.
No, LT, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about players manipulating the situation to where they are getting paid. And it's not for the love of the game. It's for them and them getting money.
So like an Albert Hainsworth, for example.
Yes, that's what I'm not talking about as far as that is concerned. Because like that is something that happens to a lot of teams. And like I said, you got to look at it from a business standpoint. If you're running a business, I know I can't pay Noah $20 an hour. Guess what? I'm gonna try to get 2 or 3 guys for $5 to $75 an hour and see if I can get them to do his job. That's better for me instead of paying one guy $20. That's just good business.
I think you can see better examples of that in basketball, like you said earlier, because it'll be a lot of players that have these big money deals, and it'll be a player option. They don't even get playing time no more. But guess what they do? They accept that damn player option and sit down some more. So that's how you know they're not in it for the love of the game no more. They're just like, well, this is the only last big check I'm going to get, so I'm going to rake it up.
Yeah, but like, I'm going to say this. And you say it's a business pass, but it is business in a sense because a lot of that has something to do with teams overpaying people. Like you can't. And I say that because you see, okay, like for example, you see what Jacksonville just did this year. Jacksonville literally just went out here and overpaid, a person like Christian Kirk. Freaking 80+ million for what? Like that? Like if you, why is you paying this man 80+ million? He really ain't had nothing to show for it. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So now when a player actually has a decent season and whatnot, when he walks through the door and they gonna be like, okay, we want to negotiate your contract. Only thing he gonna do, he gonna take a piece of sticky note, write down Christian Kirk. $84 million, slide it to the doggone GM them and say, let's start from there.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I was going to say too about a point that Mike was saying is like they're putting their bodies on the line, and we're not just talking about game day. We're talking about every other day. Like in order to get that good to the point where you're one of a few thousands people on the roster for the NFL, you have to devote like a lot of your time. Like you have to make this a lifestyle. You have to change everything. You have to potentially move your family. You have to potentially maybe not have that decision to have a family right now. And then just focus on traveling and focus on getting your body right and getting the playbook right and making sure that you're as good of a player as you can be. And then when you get to your career, remember, the average NFL lifespan is only about 3 to 4 years. So when you're battered and when you have all of these problems on your body in order to that you struggle to endure with, right? Let's go back to my example of Albert Hainsworth. Let's say you just retired. You're like 34 years old. You're like 350 pounds. And the only thing that you've been good at for like the past like 12 or 15 years, you can't do anymore. Where do you go on with the rest of your life? And this is where the extension of the money comes from, because some people, they may have the ability to go on and make money in more types of ways. Like you think a look at Tony Romo making that money from CBS, just being an announcer, just still keeping what he knows. And not everyone is good at that. Drew Brees, like So
I mean, but you got a point there when you what you said, because it's the fact that like Romo. Listen, I don't think Romo getting paid a doggone deal to the point that hey, you might look at it like hey, this ain't even money he saw in his NFL playing career.
Possibly.
That's wild. That's wild to even think about that.
And he's just talking and watching it. He's not even like physically there to take the beating anymore. And now, like I said, like you're at the stage where the thing that you've known, it can go south for your body. And now you're struggling to make money elsewhere. Now you're going to have to probably go back to college. And this is why, like we get a good number of players that go back and finish their degrees for college. And then they come back just so that they can have that as the back burner for when their career ends. Now they know something else. Now they can have another field to step into. And now they're not having to live off the rest of their life with the contract that they made in the NFL.
I think it's more so. I think LT. I think it's more so the tactics that bother me. Not so much that like you get in the bag. For me, it's the tactics and how you manipulate the system in order to get it. Because it's like I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's like a lot. A lot of people what they used to do with their income taxes, and they have this kid and somebody else's kid under, and they stealing money from. That's how I see it. It's like, look, you're taking money from other people that have done things the right way, and you knowing that you have a certain power, a certain star power, instead of helping this guy, or like doing what Matt Ryan did for Julio Jones. Look, he took less money. He gave his money to Julio so Julio could get paid, and then Julio ended up running to another team. He wants out. So I think for me, I don't think it's the people getting paid issue. I think it's the manipulation and the tactics behind it that bothers me. So,
well, now we figured out that there's loopholes that the actual organization and the teams that pay them have now too. With the interview that was on the Pat McAfee show the other day, it was like now they have all these fancy things in their contracts, so now they can add voidable years at the end and just make everything look like it's a lot of money, and then it trickles down, and now you're really only thinking about that guaranteed money in the contract. Which is why Cut's deal was like $80 million, but then like 75 of it was guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, and now with that being said, that's why I like. Now I agree with what Mike said before. Said like how he said, you got to earn your keep. This is why I like what Terry Fontenot does with contracts, because instead of you giving them folks a lucrative deal, you pretty much forces them to, if you want your money, you got to perform. And once you perform, if you perform like you're supposed to, then we don't mind paying. You can get your extra money in your incentives. You know what I'm saying? Example, if Grady contract had the incentives in there where it said in order for him to get his money to get say he need if he gets I'm gonna say if he gets 6 sacks this year, he get an extra 7 million, or he get an extra 7 million. So that's your goal. You need to try to get 6 sacks so you can get your 7 million. But if you, I mean, just like we seen, just like how we seen with what the dude name is, Dante Fowler. For him to get $1 million extra in his contract, all he had to do was get 5 sacks. The man only had 4 in a 17-game season.
And one more
He
thing.
spent more time in the air than he did on the field. That's why.
Yeah, and there's one more example that I'll give, and then
and we're gonna go to Wolf after Noah.
Right.
They go more.
Like sometimes it's not just like what other people were saying in the comment section about you can play and you can still get money based off of the love that you have for the sport. I think the best example that I can think of right now is Larry Fitzgerald. Like he had not a whole lot physically to offer anymore with his body being like a 37-year-old wide receiver, but he was still on the team providing moral support, being the leader, being an icon, being someone that will put fans in seats at the games just to see them for the pregame, the postgame, and whatever he can offer himself, during the season. So it's like he gets highly regarded as a top, like not just player, not just wide receiver, but also as a top-rated person. So you can still maintain your reputation and your status, and then you can get extra contracts just based off of who you are sometimes too. And who you are is going to be often dependent on how much passion you put into the thing that you're doing. So let's get into it. Los Falcons, what you got?
Thank you, Mike, Noah, and everybody else, because right now I'm kind of infuriated, right? I'm infuriated because I agree with all the points that you guys have said for the past hour, and all these players that you guys have named, except for Deshaun Watson, deserve to play in the NFL. See, Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve to play in the NFL, gentlemen. He does not deserve to play in the NFL. When is the last quarterback that was suspended for a year? If Ray Rice was a quarterback, he'd still be playing in the NFL. Yes.
I mean, say that.
Okay, because Ben Roethlisberger has a charge. He has a charge. And they let it go.
Antonio Brown.
And they let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you and the whole take this walk with me now. Take this walk with me. I walk fast, right? You let him set a precedent that now it's a trend in the NFL, because Lamar is saying, well, if he got 230, I want 240. You let that guy do that to set the bar. A guy that hasn't played in over a year, a guy that hasn't been an MVP, a guy that hasn't done anything. Now, social injustice, racial injustice, Colin Kaepernick doesn't deserve a job, but he does.
Ouch.
Ooh. Yeah, you
now, Mike, I know you the madness, but I'm gonna get madness right now, right? I'm gonna get madness on you. What's the difference between a Colin Kaepernick and a Marcus Mariota?
In what way?
Opportunity.
Oof. Thank you. Thank you. So you mean somebody who stood up for social injustice and racial injustice doesn't deserve a job, but a guy that has 66 allegations? 66 allegations? And he got a job and he set the bar for getting paid money guaranteed? You got to be kidding me.
Most in NFL history.
Is that
All I'm gonna say is this, because is at this point is alleged allegation.
Okay.
Alleged.
All right.
Now I'm
if it
not.
walk like a duck, if you walk like a duck and quack like a duck, it's a duck.
let me, Mike. Let me pose this question right quick. Man. Does it seem that in order to get kicked out of the big boys club, that you have to stand up for something? Because it kind of seems like that at this point.
Yeah.
Because you was exposed. You was exposing something that people didn't want you to see. That was in your face.
Let me say this. What LT, as far as LT is concerned, the reason why, like, I hear both, but like I'm the type of person, I wouldn't like that same type of, because I've been through that. We've had a close friend and a brother, fuck the friend, but a brother that actually had, to deal with allegations of, man, it's nasty. But
very.
It's not something that I want to jump on immediately, but we have to be fair to Deshaun. We have to be fair to him because we don't know the entire story. We don't know if these women are being manipulated by lawyers, and I've been in court where, I'm looking at the lawyer, I'm looking dead in his eye. I'm looking right in the lawyer's eyes. He looks at the judge and he just winks. He looks right at the judge. I'm looking right at him. I'm in court. I'm looking at the lawyer, and the lawyer and the judge, they make eye contact, and I was like, wow, so you deny me. All right. It was all a game to begin with. So I know the system when it comes down to these lawyers and these judges. All they give a damn about is getting that bread. They share the money. They share the wealth. This is something that I know personally.
They hang out together. So, trust me.
I want to be fair. I want to be fair to Deshaun, and like on the surface, and I'm gonna just be real. And this is why it's a double-edged sword, because on the surface, it's 66 fucking cases, bro. That's hard for me to just say.
He ain't guilty.
It's hard for me to say that. Like,
now, Mike, you've been in court. I've been in court, right? There's degrees of sexual assault, yes?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So maybe he's not at first degree or second degree.
Right.
But third degree, fourth degree, fam? Oof.
I mean, like I said, the thing about the situation is the thing about here's where I look at it in life. This is one of the biggest things I always look at myself in life or with people. Folks think where their emotions a lot instead of logically. Now, like I said, there's not me saying he's innocent. It's not me saying he's guilty. What I'm saying is I don't know. I wasn't there. But I've seen on both sides of on the spectrum where you seen people that actually did the crime and nobody didn't believe the victim, and you also had folks you also had said alleged victim lie on a person, and that person spent X amount of years in prison and knowing it was a lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, prime example of Brian Banks. The man was lied upon about committing a sexual assault on a woman, and his whole life went down the drain. The man was a highly touted recruiter, and to play college ball, his whole life went downhill because a woman said he raped her, and he spent years in prison. And it took him to record a confession for him to get his name cleared. But at the end of the day, but one thing I can say, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's watching this show and everybody in this chat can say, that's on this show right now can say, no person, not no man that I know, or at least any sane man and real man will want to have anything attached to you as being weirdo, a rapist, a sexual assault person. You do not want that attached to your name. That pretty much ruins you.
You can't come. A lot of times you can't come back from that.
Right.
And
exactly.
You're talking about one case. Yeah. You're talking about one case.
But see, here's the thing that getting back to the sports or whatnot is what Noah was talking about as far as like when it comes to the players playing the game. Most of us grew up with players where like you had like Lawrence Taylor and all them dudes played their heart out, risked their life to almost to the point where they couldn't walk off the field for the love of the game. These new generation of players, they got more.
Lawrence Taylor not a good example. He was doing coke on the sideline.
Yeah, but
that you know what? That's true. That's true. Okay,
but the times change. It ain't gonna stay the same. It ain't gonna.
What I'm saying is, these new generation of players, they got more options.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Back then in the sports, you hear a lot of these old players say they played the game for the game. The game was their life. A lot of these players right now, that's not the case. That's why they can go get off the field and go to a podcast, or they can get off the field and all them endorsements wasn't pumping that kind of money in. Like you can see when Mean Joe Green was on, commercials and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you was getting a fair share, but you wasn't getting the money they making right now. And that kind of changes the mentality of the player. Like, this ain't the end all be all. Because if this don't work out, I got A, B, C, and D after that. So they kind of like straddle the fence a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them.
Well, the ones that have the special talent do that.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying, special teams, they fighting for a job every year. They fighting for a job every year. But the special guys, but what I'm saying is you let somebody who was off the field, had some type of issue, set the bar for a trend that's happening in the NFL. I would have been okay if Lamar did that or Joe Burrow, because their off the field, on the field performance was better than his by far. All Colin did was take a knee. Do we not remember Chris Jackson from the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah.
Pledge of allegiance.
But see, the difference is they looking at it as Deshaun Watson's situation is more of a personal PR nightmare. They looked at it as when Kaepernick did it, he attacked the NFL shield. And that's, to them, that's like messing with the church's money. And it doesn't matter. They don't see, like I tell people, you got workers and you got relationships. That's what separates people in jobs. So in any business, you got workers and relationships. Relationships is the big money side. When you start messing with the big money side of stuff, they have their own set of rules for how they look at stuff and how they do. They pretty much looking at this like that's his problem, but it's a PR nightmare for the NFL because they got to tread lightly on how they're going to deal with it. But as far as him having them individual cases, that's a player problem.
Yeah, but the NFL failed to do the investigations. The NFL failed to do the investigations. Because he said it was only 23. When the 24th one popped up, the whole game changed. Then the Texans said that they was, facilitating certain type of situations. Now, Mike, last week I said it on here, and you see my video. Organizations have fixers. They have people that fix problems. Right? Okay. We know them as public relations, but in the streets, we know them as fixers. Every organization has a fixer. Every organization has the muscle. We know that, right? The Texans, if they were facilitating something, then it even makes it worse. The NFL just said, you know what? We're going to do it. Now, look, the reason why Cleveland is like, I don't even blame Cleveland for that, because Cleveland, they ain't had nothing. Now they got something hot. They said, yo, we going to invest $230. Now you lose a year. And then we don't even know what's going to happen next year. Because we all know
bad ethics by the Texans, by just knowing that man was in some deep shit and you end up getting their
and
first
sweeping it
round
under
pick.
the rug.
Whew.
Now
Go
look,
ahead,
my man just said, I just real quick, my man just gave an example. I'm gonna tell you an example of a person that was probably wrongly convicted because they wasn't prepared. And Mike Tyson was convicted, and his lawyer was a tax attorney, wasn't a criminal attorney. And I just did. Listen to me. Mike, I just did my research because that's what my next video was going to be about. My next video was going to really be about racism, diversity in the NFL. But I said, let me do this research on Mike Tyson. Feel what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, there's a lot of good content that we should. Mike Tyson got set up damn near by his own defense team. You see what I'm saying? He was a tax attorney. He was a tax attorney. He was not a criminal lawyer. He got Don King out of some mob shit because of some taxes. He was not equipped to handle that case. And there was evidence that I looked at myself, Mike. I'm like everybody on the panel. I looked at myself reading some documents, is public record, where her ex-boyfriend, the father, was going to press charges on him because he had sex with Desiree Washington. So he was going to call rape on, and he was a white boy. He was a white boy. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's an example right there of somebody who's not prepared, where you could kill somebody's reputation. Your reputation could be killed if you're not prepared. And anything. And Mike is a perfect example of that. So is Tupac Shakur.
I mean, one thing about it, I can say, charges can be beat. I fortunately, real close with a person that I've seen, I know for a fact said person, end up committing the murder, had got a lawyer. The lawyer wasn't doing much. So while he was in court, he stood up and asked, and the judge was like, he spoke out, and the judge asked him what he wanted to speak on. He said, I would like to fire my lawyer and represent myself. So he did that. Now for now, he did do it. He did the crime, and he still beat the charges.
Yeah. I mean, a murder charge is probably the easiest crime you could beat, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's not hard to, trust me, the statistics say it. You know what I mean? But Mike was not prepared for that fight. He wasn't prepared. And when I started reading some paperwork, his lawyer didn't even do certain cross-examinations of the fact that the woman she was running a red light. We all know what a red light is, right? Or we gotta explain it. You feel what I'm saying? She was running a red light.
Hey, some of the people young in here, including me, go ahead and let me know what that means.
Okay, red light means, she started doing her thing, menstrual cycle, bleeding, and Mike ran a red light. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's we talk about something in any situation. Deshaun Watson should have been a little bit more prepared if he was going to act a certain type of way. Because didn't Alvin Kamara just do something in Las Vegas?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then knocking folks out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and not for nothing, not to reiterate, know what Mike, because y'all was on last week. I don't know the rest of the gentlemen real well. I hope to know y'all guys more. But Mike, what did we say last week? They entourage. If you walking around with an entourage, bro, you supposed to have somebody who's gonna take that for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, nah, hold on. That's the money, man. Hold on. Let me get this. You know what I'm saying? Let me rock out. Because what I said last week when the Saint fans was trolling, Mike, I said, Mike, I got him. Send him over here. Because if you the money man, I'm gonna get involved. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, bro. You know what I mean? How you gonna let if Deshaun is the money man, bro, yo, ain't nobody gonna pull him to the side like, yo, man, listen, we might not want to be doing this all the time, though, baby. You might want to slow it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You might want to just, if anything, we right by California. There's a couple porn stars. You know what I'm saying? We just find it.
But you know what?
Well, that's funny. It's funny that you say that. It's funny that he say that because I've literally said this I've literally said
We had
private
the
chat,
same
like,
conversation.
like
We had
we
the same
literally said it like, bro, like
Don't
if you want to be freak dancing, bro, go to California. Find you some doggone, find you some, pay, get a couple porn stars. Trust me, they into all that stuff you into. They'll dress up as a masseuse, massage you down, rub you down. You do what you got to do and go on about your day. Why are you doing it to a regular 9? A lot of these women have boyfriends. They have husbands. They have wives. You know what I'm saying? Quit doing that.
Listen. Yo, talking about podcasts, don't Lisa Ann got a podcast?
I mean, several people got a podcast. Alexis Texas got a podcast. Hey, one of the ladies named Holly Randall, her mother was a camera girl. She shot people, and then she ultimately got joined the business and shooting people, and now she has a podcast. So like I said, you have many people that you could choose from. Just quit doing it to regular 9 to 5 women.
They got way more to lose. They got way more to lose than them chicks out there in LA.
Probably brings up more questions. Though. That brings up the question of why did you on Instagram and go for specific people like that? Instead of going to the professional channels. Why is he on Instagram going for people? It brings up those questions of the ethics.
I mean,
look though, see, you got I done heard you gotta leave them Instagram people alone, bro. That done got a lot of brothers in trouble. You gotta leave them chicks on social media alone.
No, go ahead. What's up,
Alex? How's your night going, buddy? Probably already ruined.
I mean, you can fly in Vanessa Del Rio still for 10 G's, man. Come on, man.
I'm not even gonna tell y'all what I done done in my life. So
that don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Nah, I'm just saying. Like you could, like, why are you going? Like, fam, ain't nobody telling you on your entourage, yo, you need to slow down a little bit. You need to keep this like under wraps. We about to come on, be like, ain't nobody telling them nothing. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you can't have a bunch of yes men. You gotta have that one dude that's gonna be like, yo, bruh, chill out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mike made a very valid point a couple shows back. He was saying that with everybody now, with the owners being pissed off that now they're gonna look at these players and they starting to expect to get these guaranteed contracts for these big absorbent amount of money. Mike was saying a lot of them they're gonna start pushing back. Because this is already becoming a bad habit narrative. And a lot of these teams can't afford that.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with the cap.
Yep. It's going to ruin. Mike, you said it right. The Baltimore owner, he was already shitting on the Cleveland Browns, wasn't
he? Yeah. He left. He left in the middle of the night over them.
Yeah.
He left in the middle of the night.
Like, bro, 2:30, and we don't even know what's going on. Like, and then like, yo, man, shout out to the internet. There's a clip of him with the porn star Mia Khalid.
Who?
Deshaun Watson. Look it up.
Oh yeah. I did see that.
Bro,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we want our quarterback to be good on and off the field, right? That's come on. Like you everybody hated on Matt Ryan, but damn, he was a good leader on and off the field, whatever. And yes, I love Matt Ryan. God damn it, I love that man. But damn it, he was 2 quarters away from getting a statue in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
He still can get it.
He said, I'm trying to petition it now, man, Mike. Trying to petition it now.
He can still get it, dog. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, I've seen people, people say what they want to say. They can say he lost the championship. Like I tell people all the time, what y'all fail to realize is this man here has taken this organization to heights that we couldn't even dream of. We experienced a lot. We experienced more winning in 14 years than we did in what 60 I mean, like what we were on, like 50 plus years, 60 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like like that. Like you cannot sit here and look at that man and say he's the issue or he's this or he's that. Because at the end of the day, like I tell people all the time, like the man here, like he gave us a lot of stuff. Like we ain't never had back-to-back winning seasons. The minute he get here, that's the first thing we get. Back-to-back winning season. We ain't never had back-to-back playoff appearances. Literally after him just missing the playoffs in 2009, we went 3 straight years to the postseason. We never done that before.
Never. I'm telling you,
we
man.
played in one NFC championship game, and as long as the organization exists, Matt get here, we done played in 2.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I take it back. I'm sorry. We played in 2 NFC championship games in the organization existence, and Matt gets here in 14 years, and he played in 2 by himself.
Yeah, that's you know, you gotta respect what's going on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta respect what's happening, man. Like, it's a shame that, you know what I'm saying, some people in the NFL is setting the trend. It's just that's all I'm saying. Some people in the NFL is setting the trend, and it might be the wrong.
For me, but for me, I mean, he the wrong person to set the trend. I get what you're saying on that. I just, like I said, you got to blame the organizations for doing that. For Cleveland to go out and do what they did, and then you made his contract fully guaranteed. That means no matter what happens to him, even that even like they even announced that in the contract. That even includes if he is convicted, they still got to pay this money.
Crazy. Yeah, they got to eat all of that.
So this man can go to jail, and you still, and while he in jail, he racking up count. That don't help nobody. But then
Whoa. You tell me this is a roster bonus? Like he doesn't have to be on the roster in order to get paid? I didn't know that.
If I'm not mistaken,
crazy. But
it's fully guaranteed.
And that's why if you paid attention to the news before he got that money and afterwards, they changed the structure of the cases, because before he got that 230, they wanted to go with a class action lawsuit, get everybody together and have it that way. When they heard he got that guaranteed, the lawyers was like, nah, we're gonna do it individually. That's why everybody was like, no, 22. They was like, no, dude got to show up that many times and get here. And they got it's going to be the jury's going to say whether he's guilty or not. It ain't gonna be no walk in, sit at the table across from the person, okay, give him the money and walk out. Nah, it's gonna be a full on trial.
Yeah, now it is because of the contract that he got. And that's why, and that's why I'm like, that's why I'm sitting here and telling people I'm not saying he's not guilty, because again, you got that many. I tell people all the time, one allegation is one too many. Boy, you got 66 of them now.
Yeah, bro. But Mike,
in the midst of me saying that,
hot since Bernie Kosar. It ain't been hot over there since Bernie Kosar. Do you blame him? It ain't been hot.
Come on now. You can't forget about the Tim Couch era now. Come on now.
Who?
You also got to throw in things that his lawyer is saying. His lawyer,
his lawyer wilding out.
You got to.
I swear to God, I thought his lawyer was Ron Jeremy for a minute.
Dude, when I heard that, I'd be like, all right, you fired. I need somebody. Because and all of us at one point in time have been in court. Ain't nowhere in the world you got a lawyer trying to defend you. He supposed to come out of his mouth with that statement. You all, I'm sorry, but in the public opinion, you already lost. Because you have basically, you're killing the credibility of your defense. You don't go in there and say some stuff like that.
And then it was confirmed that one of the girls was crying.
That's like, that's like walking in a courtroom on a murder charge and the lawyer talking about, well, stabbing somebody ain't really a felon.
Yeah.
Or assault. What?
When I heard that, I lost my shit. I was like, this is the reason why I say a lot of these lawyers and these judges are in cahoots. It's because this. Why would you say that? Why would you say that as a lawyer, that getting a happy ending isn't wow? Like, bro.
Because
I'm dying. I'm gonna tell you what you sound like when you said that. You sound like doing that meme when he said, "Why would you say that? Why would you say that?" That's what you sounded like.
because you know good and well.
I want to pull an Alex. Why?
Let him say
Look,
it.
look, it's just the same thing. You know they out here to make an example of this man. Whatever go down, they're gonna try to make an example of this man. And they know this man and just got the bag. So you gonna give them ammunition to come get the bag? Like, bruh, he already in it.
Yeah,
You need to help it.
but mark my words. Mark my words. If when this dies out, which is never going to die out, and he retires, and something else happens when he retires from the NFL, it's going to be worse. Because they're going to say, you see, the 66 cases that he had, or whatever many cases he had, look at him as an old man. He's still tricking out here. He's still tricking.
This is going to forever change how the NFL views morality with these contracts. They're going to look a lot harder and deeper
that being changed ever since ever since Milledgeville was in Milledgeville.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. But I'm saying it's because, but think about it. It's going to change because his contract was guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's the only tweak is going to be, so you come up here talking about you want something guaranteed. They going to damn near do a CIA tracking on you to make sure you 100.
Yeah. Why you think Sierra was dancing on that Bronco? We about to get 312. 250 out the track.
Somebody said the best on Twitter. Somebody Sierra said she riding a Bronco on in the streets and in the bedroom.
No, damn well that boy can't handle that. No, damn well that boy can't handle that. He going down Space Mountain. He going down Space Mountain.
Yeah, man, hold on now. You can't be disrespected, Russ. He done been with her for some years now. I'm pretty sure he doing something right.
I mean, Future got like 9 kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I mean, she was gonna stay with Future or Russ. Oh, now
look. She done already told Russ. She done already told Russ if he get to the Super Bowl, she gonna do the halftime show. Look, they already planned it out.
Wow. Come on now.
Yeah, she already planned it out.
I mean, I wasn't worried about no dog on twerking on no Bronco. Them gas prices in the background ridiculous. $6.99 for Supreme. Boy, stop. Somebody find me a horse and somebody find me a donkey in a wagon because we fit to go back over school.
Oh, she gonna ride.
Look, I got some people. Look, I got some people that's in Detroit. Look, I got some people's in Detroit already crying about they junk almost $6, man. Detroit. $6.
Better find me a horse and carriage.
Bro, I'm gonna be riding. I told you, I'm gonna be riding around on a go-kart.
What's the name of the horse in Mile High Mike? Thunder, right?
I'm like, well, I'm gonna be like Billy Ray Cyrus on Old Town Road because ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be riding a car.
You gonna see Sierra riding through that stadium, Mile High, right on Thunder, man. Just riding through. What's up? 312. 312.
All right, so my question to y'all is this. So with everything that is taking place with the Falcons, how do y'all see the season? Like, do you see an improvement? Do you see a decline? Where do y'all see us at?
If we win one game, the Wolves is coming out. If we win 2-3 games, the Wolves is coming out. If we win 5-6 games, the Wolves is coming out. He wins 7 games, he's safe. He's safe with 7. He's safe with 7.
Hold on. The Wolves coming out to who? For who?
For Arthur Smith. Because they was coming out for him last year.
They're gonna be coming out for him for the preseason game.
That was ridiculous to be coming out. I mean, I seen it, but it was ridiculous to come out on him last year because literally it was your first year with a team that you ain't really built off of. You inherited. Excuse my language, everybody on the show, for all the viewers. You inherited some bullshit and had to do.
Now we want to act this way.
And you had to like make do with what was going on. So like for me, like the fact you look at it, put it in perspective. We had a way more talented team in 2020, and we won 4 games. We had a way less talented team in 2021 and won 7 games. We were literally a week out. We literally was in a playoff race until the second to last week of the NFL season. I mean, to me, that to me that goes to show you how well that the coaching staff was put together. It showed me how good of a GM that Terry Fontenot has been by getting serviceable guys that could play and have us in those games and be able to, hang with the league for the most part, even though our team really wasn't worth a damn. So with me saying that, for people to be, like I said, for the Wolves to come out last year about, oh my God, he only won 7 games and this, that, and third, man, listen, I said the man did that with less talent. So once they start, now you start to see them bringing in the type of guys that they want. I don't see us not improving. Like you got folks out here saying, "Oh, we ain't gonna win no more. We gonna win no more than 4 games this year. We won 7 last year. So how we gonna just take a massive drop off because we not signing guys that you want? That's crazy as hell."
Pretty much, because they want to go at that easy narrative because hey, it's like I said, they want to be entertained. They don't care nothing about wins, bettering the culture, or nothing. Period. See, the first year Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot was to see how they were going to put their plan together and how they were going to do with a subpar team. They did good. Now it's going to see y'all putting your people in. Now let's see how you do when you got most of your team that you want together. Let's see how you do now. And yeah, we're going to improve. We got more flexibility. People had the same mindset, like I was saying on the other in the spaces. People are stuck on last year. That's the problem. When they look at sports, most of the fans from every team is stuck on what their team did last year. And a lot of them are stuck in that mindset until the team show up on the field this season and do something different. And I keep telling people.
I'll tell anybody, one thing about the league is year to year.
Right.
You brought up an interesting point, right? Because you were saying about how, we're going to lose less games this year because of the entertainment value that we don't provide. But here's the thing. Those people complaining about the entertainment value, how were they more entertained last year when they had the starting quarterback that they didn't like and the weapons that they couldn't even remember?
True.
That's that right there. No.
How are they going to be less entertained than that?
Mm-hmm. They be complaining about entertainment. They don't even buy tickets, so I don't know what they're complaining about.
They were comfortable. Ooh. They were comfortable with the narrative that Matt Ryan was no good, but that comfort net was the fact that they knew what they could expect from Matt Ryan, or at least they thought. They don't know what they can expect from Mariota. They don't know what they can expect from Ritter because you're basing Ritter off of 2 teams ago. I mean, no, Mariota off 2 teams ago, excuse me. And you basing Ritter off college stuff. They don't know what to expect. With Matt Ryan, they kind of knew what to expect. They knew what the team was. They were comfortable in their misery. They don't know what to think. They got all this speculation. That's why Matt Ryan is still in their mouths. And he on another team. Because like I said, you're still focused on last year. Because a lot of these fans think,
you say that. Yeah. It's funny that you say that because like I've literally seen a person tweet saying like if Vic would have won, I'd be over
we lost you, Lefty.
I am so sorry.
No, we really lost him.
He just got a call.
They literally had a tweet maybe 4 days ago where this clown was talking about Matt Ryan putting up old posts and stuff from when he was talking about how he was a noodle arm.
Let me simplify it for you. It's not that they stuck on stupid. It's not that they stuck in the past or they stuck in last year. You just don't know what the fuck you talking about. When people don't have the education, when people are not smart enough to understand the entire NFL or understand their team, they revert back to what they know, and what they know is to hate Matt Ryan. So it's not Matt Ryan or last year that they're stuck on. You don't want to know football. You don't know football. You don't know the Falcons. You don't know the college game. You don't know what Desmond Ridder did last year. You don't know who his teammate was, Alex Pierce. You have no clue. So it's not the fact that they're stuck on last year. They're not stuck on last year. They're just stupid. I say it all the time. I just say it all the time. You're ignorant. You're ignorant, and that's what
you said that in the car, right, Mike? In the car, you said that when you was driving that.
Yes,
it's a fact.
I like to say my apologies. I'm still on call. For folks that don't know, I am a tow truck driver and I'm roadside assistant. So I end up getting a call for someone. But what I will say is this, though. I seen a person come out in the mid and said that Vic would have got us a championship, and I'm sitting here looking like we only had 2 winning seasons under this man. So what is y'all talking about?
Right.
Like we and what people fail to realize, a lot of folks fail to realize about the Vic years, especially the last 2. In 2005, we started off the season 6-2. We finished the season 8-8. In 2006, we started off the season 5-2. We finished the season 7-9. That don't help nobody. Now you can't sit here and say what this man could have done, he didn't do. And then when people like to bring up the years that he played, the years that he played in Philly, and I'm looking like, okay, he played in Philly, but do you not know that he only had 1 playoff appearance, which was 2010? After that, he didn't do nothing after that. So, like, again, like this whole thought process of how, I mean, don't get wrong, Vic was a great athlete. He was prime time. He was must-see TV, all of that. But if you talk about winning, he wasn't doing that.
Yeah,
just keep it all
hip-hop, the people come. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Hip hop was just at the height because there was no other black quarterback doing that at that time. Yeah. So hip hop was so crazy. He could have probably been the first $1 billion player because Nike had just gave him $100 million deal.
So let me pause on that. That's another narrative that comes in that's really false, because we have had plenty black quarterbacks and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. Not like Vic. Hold on. He might not. Suppose they might have had like the athleticism of a Vic, but let's be honest here. Steve McNair was up. Steve McNair was up there. He just wasn't.
I gotta stop you right there. I gotta stop you right there. There has never been a black quarterback with the stardom and the charisma and what. Michael Vick was beloved by everybody. I'm talking about people who weren't even Falcons fans. Joe is not even from Atlanta.
I'm talking strictly football.
Yeah,
that's not no. See what you're not. What he's saying, it was more than just football that brought Michael like a lot of fans in. Like it was deeper than that.
I mean, I get that, but but Vic had a fan base since Virginia Tech.
Yeah. But
if we being honest about it, right. He had a fan base in '99.
But that's East Coast. That's East Coast. That's where I'm from, New Jersey. They
literally played the national championship against Tennessee.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, when hip hop pushed a lot of people forward. Hip hop made a lot of people cool. And they made Michael Vick cool at that time, right? And then Atlanta music just made it hotter. Atlanta, listen, New York was running worldwide. Atlanta took that shit and still got it. Michael Vick is still like talked about in Madden and stuff like that, like an icon, bro. He changed the Madden game, son. Boy, changed the Madden game.
But yeah,
nobody get on the Madden game and be like, "Oh shit, let me get Matt Ryan." No, they'd be like, "Oh, Michael Vick."
If we bring it back to football a little bit, I think the thing surrounding Michael Vick is that we have too many what ifs. But the reality is, the man said out his own mouth, he didn't try when he was here. He relied on his athletics. He didn't study the playbook. So there's too many.
And then you had a 60-40 with the fans anyway, because even when he was playing. Even when he was playing,
hold on. Everybody, I want because we're talking over each other. Watch Noah. Everybody just watch Noah. He'll
I think the only other player that I could be in the same ballpark would be Randall Cunningham. But even then, that's a bit wishy-washy because, he didn't have that same level of flair off the field, to the extent that Vic had, but maybe on the field, he was still like really athletically gifted. He still was a player that looked like he was from the future.
Yeah, the Minnesota.
Like he was
the Minnesota
punting.
Yeah.
Like he was another do-it-all back. All right, for the second time after like what seemed like 40 minutes, how's it going, Alex?
Yo, what's up? You guys hear me?
That's it.
No.
What you been brought on for?
I have to get my rant in. Of course, y'all thought it was just gonna be a peaceful day. No, I chose violence today. Okay, we on the Chiefs today. All right.
Oh no.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Y'all chose the right day.
Why?
No. The Chiefs suck. Okay, they suck and they will forever suck. Okay, they have no right to have that much talent on their team. All right, everyone needs to start a petition.
See, you sound like a scorned Matt Ryan. Like,
hold on, why are we dragging the Chiefs? What did they do?
What did they do? More like, what did they not do?
They got everybody in the draft that he wanted. They drafted everybody Alex wanted.
Everyone.
He hasn't lived that down since the draft.
Free agency.
I called a pick. I don't care. I called our indicator.
For the people that don't know why I say why, just look at their draft, and you'll say it too, because they literally suck. They suck.
Hey, TJ, if you're listening, we got to get that on the shirt.
I don't care enough about the Chiefs to be worried about what the fuck they doing.
Hey, Devontae, it's already in the works. I'm just gonna let you know. It's already in the works.
That's all right, man. Say it with your chest.
Shit, I might take Juju as a sleeper in my fantasy team. That's about it, really.
Alex, it's been like a month and a half, dude.
No. I haven't recovered. Nah.
Is it because Patrick Mahomes light-skinned it? What's going on?
Wow.
No.
He'll feel.
I'm just asking.
He'll feel better when the season starts.
You still complaining about a draft that was 2 months ago? We damn at the season.
He'll feel better when the season starts. Don't worry.
Oh no, I won't. I'll feel worse. Because then I have to actually face the reality that one day we'll have to face this team that just decided to have a good GM and just decided to have a good scouting department and just decided to just knock it out the park on literally all their picks. So no, I will not feel better when the season.
So we didn't hit on any of ours?
Oh no, we did. We did.
So what the problem is?
The problem is the rich got
way
richer. They got way too rich. Nah.
So did the Broncos.
Nah,
Trust me.
Nobody cares about the Broncos. The Broncos, who are the Broncos? We don't care.
Trust me, the season is going to weed out those picks on every team. It happens every year.
The Raiders are loaded. Raiders are loaded
until it actually happens.
Yo, all the Mexicans is in Las Vegas right now for the Raiders. All the Mexicans is out, Alex. I don't know if you know that, but when the Mexicans come out for the Raiders, it's on, son. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need them. I'm gonna need my Chicanos. All right, I'm gonna need.
There you go. Because the Mexicans are camped out at the stadium as we speak. Okay.
All right.
The Raiders are popping this year. Woof. They are popping.
And then you got them Oakland folk.
Oof.
Just in case.
Those are the essays.
Pull one over on the Raiders. I'm gonna need them to come with that rice and beans energy. All right. I'm
here for you, baby. I'm here for you. This week is
they gonna have that at the tailgate.
We here.
That's gonna be at the tailgate.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
No, where we at now? We talking about rice and beans. We're talking about that.
Hey, that rice is hey, don't sleep on the rice and beans, all right?
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
We got the food. We over here talking about the Chiefs, some beans. Where we going?
I'm trying to figure it out.
This is madness for you. Well, it's going on 2 hours, man, and want to kind of tone it down. Well, tone it down, but close it down. We kind of go from the top to the bottom. So we'll start with Mr. Deion Jones, cousin twice removed. It's your last. It's your last take.
My last take is I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. All I ate was some barbecue chicken and some macaroni and cheese. So that's what we gonna expect this season. Everybody else is barbecue chicken. That's all I gotta say.
Fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and collard greens too big for my cheese.
That's so.
LT. Ellie.
I know I've been MIA for a couple months. I've been tending to a lot of stuff, people. But please believe, in the words of Michael Jordan, I'm back.
Oh.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I'm back.
This motherfucker talk 24/7 and crack jokes all day long, and then he gonna come back with "I'm back."
I mean, you got to leave the good stuff for it to be desired.
So,
Mike, you should have been playing that music when he said that. He should have been that sexy chocolate interlude. You should have been playing.
Oh, see, that's
Chill out, man. Y'all this Mark Henry shit.
All right, Warren, what you got, bro?
Like I said, man, I'm positive. We gonna win some games. We gonna surprise a lot of people, and I think we going between 8 and 10 games. Because the Falcons got a lot of good things on offense. They made some good picks on defense. They got a couple things to tweak, but hey, this that growing pain stage. So it's gonna be a good season, man. So we're gonna keep our heads up. Let all them naysayers keep talking. That's all I got.
Well, we got Los.
Arthur Smith, you got 4 months to prepare for the Saints. You got 4 months to prepare for the Saints. Let's not shit the bed first game.
I think it might be 3.
Okay, whatever it is. I'm sorry, Noah, 3. But being unprepared costs us a lot. So let's be prepared. Let's get this preparation going, and I think our defense is going to surprise a lot of people. I think Dean Pease is ready to push that emergency button, and you're going to see a lot of the Falcons fly around to the ball, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a top 15 defense. Top 15. That's what I want to see this year. So thank you very much, everybody. Man, Mike, always thank you. Noah, K Styles, you out there, man. Salute to you and everybody else on the panel.
I think the last thing that I'll say is momentum in the NFL can be a crazy thing, right? And we understand our schedule and we understand what it looks like, but there's a good stretch within our schedule. I don't have it up like right in front of me, but I know that in the middle of the season and towards the end of it, we may not have the perfect start as what everyone's expecting, right? So we may end up on the season, starting 1-0 and then, 1-1 and then kind of losing a couple games on here on out. But if we learn from those mistakes that we make early on, and if we start really learning about our roster and what it has and what it's capable of, and then we start hitting to that easy stretch, right? Because there is an easy stretch. Because you have the Panthers, and then you have the Bears, and then you have Washington, and you have the Chargers that can easily make mistakes if they go too analytically based. If we push them into position and get them competitive, guess what? They lost a number of games like that. So did Baltimore. Guess what? They're also at the later end of the same stretch. Then you have the Saints again. Then you have the Steelers, who, they have a lot of question marks of their own, especially on the offensive side. They're trying to lessen the amount of responsibilities that Najee Harris has. Their question marks on the quarterback position are still there. They have some offensive line things that they still have to correct. Now, their defense is fine, but it still isn't perfect, and it's still not what they want it to be. So that's still exploitable. Why do you think the Lions kept up with them to the point where they tied? Okay, like you can think about all these scenarios, right? Then you have the Cardinals. How have they always been in the later half of the season? We always see them at the end of the season, and they're always bad, right? So you have like what seems like 7 games in a row right there, where if you win 1 and then you start winning 2 and then you start winning 3 and then the team starts feeling good about themselves and then they start having that domino effect where maybe you just might mess around and start winning more games than expected right there, right? Because you have the cohesiveness, you have the chemistry built up, you have the playbooks that Dean Pease and Arthur Smith are trying to unlock on both sides of the ball, which, by the way, if you go back and do your research, starting back in 2004 when Dean Pease was like the first year of being a defensive coordinator for New England, all the way to right now, there's only been 2 instances where he had a defense that was ranked lower than 20th overall, right? It was the 2015 Ravens and last year's defense. He ain't having that on his resume after this, right? He not going for a back-to-back years, or if he's just dipping his reputation, okay? He's not going to stick around for the long haul just to go on a rebuild, just to go on a struggling defense year after year after year right now, all right? He's trying to do some stuff. He's trying to make some moves. He's trying to prove to us right now that, hey, our coverage is still not where we want it to be. And look how good A.J. Terrell was. It can get even better. And now we have a pass rush that we can look forward to. Now we have people that are able to bring the pressure, which is something that Dean Pease really had to refrain from. So there's a good chunk of the playbook that he couldn't use right there. All right, and now we have a big addition by subtraction in terms of the people that we got rid of. I'm just saying there's a lot more at stake than just the 1 year and just looking for 2023.
Delusional Falcons fans. What you got?
What's going on, man?
Oh, nothing, man. This hey, we're getting our last thoughts, and you have you got something that you want to say real quick?
Yeah, I just gotta say, I just feel like D'Angelo Hall is gonna be a bust.
That's real cute.
D'Angelo Hall gonna be a bust.
How
you know that?
From 2004?
Huh?
D'Angelo Hall? What are you talking about?
What was that?
Yeah, it's a troll. It's a troll. That was real cute. Yeah, it was real cute. This is what happens when. I mean, can y'all please be a better troll than that? Like, if you're gonna be, at least be funny. Okay.
He over the brain stickers to drop a Kool-Aid.
You came in here twice, and that's all you came up with. Is D'Angelo Hall. You could have roasted Matt Ryan. You could have roasted Jake Matthews for jumping off sides. You could have roasted Jalen Collins for getting his ass destroyed in the Super Bowl. But you picked D'Angelo Hall to.
I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. All the other Shady.
Take what?
All the real Slim Shady, please stand up. Please stand up.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Brain. I told you, brain stickers to drop a Kool-Aid.
I hope. Look, if we were talking about D'Angelo Malone, that still is bad. Okay, that's bad. He ain't played a damn game. You pick D'Angelo Malone. What? He's like a third. No, he's a 5th round. No, he's a 4th round pick. He's a 4th round pick to say, oh, he's gonna be a bust. Even if that's what you meant, I would have been.
He was only 3rd, actually.
I think 82nd, right?
Sit your goofy ass down.
Pretty much.
But yeah, like I said, man, I appreciate everybody for joining, and even people that want to come on and troll. You're more than welcome to come on Friday Night Madness. We are going to close. It's going on 2 hours. I'm hungry. I want to sit down. I want to eat, and I want to eat some more. But hey, Los, Juan, Alex, Noah, Mr. Cookie by Nature. I don't know why you call your name that. But this dude is a complete asshole. Do not be fooled by Mr. Cookie by Nature, okay? He's a complete asshole.
We here to play, or we ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't gotta go home.
You gotta go home.
But you gotta get the hell up out of here.
That's all.
Also, screw the Chiefs. Screw the Chiefs.
Later.
We don't like the Chiefs.
Oh my God. Really?
I had to say it. Sorry. We don't like the
We
Chiefs.